Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 13, Rahugana converses with Jad Bharat, text number 10. Karhismachit kshudrarasan vichinvams, Karhismachit kshudrarasan vichinvams, Tan makshikabir vyatito vimanaha, Tan makshikabir vyatito vimanaha, Tatrati krichrat pratilabdhamano, Balad vilumpanti atattamotatnye, Balad vilumpanti atatamotatonye, Karhismachit kshudra rasan vichinvamans, Tan makshikabir vyatito vimanaha, Tatrati krichrat pratilabdhamano, Balad vilumpanti atatam tatonye, Karhismachit kshudra rasan vichinvam Tanmakshika birvyatito vimanaha Tatrati krishrat pratilabdhamano Balad vilumpanti yatatam tatonye.
Karhismachit shudra rasan vichinvam
Karhismachit kshudra rasan vichimna
Tanmakshika virvatito vimanaha
Tanmakshika virvatito vimanaha
Tatrati krishrat pratilabdhamano
Tatrati krishrat pratilabdhamano
Balad vilumpanti
Balad
yatatam
vibutanti ato nuyanne.
Karismasit putra rasan vichinvam
Karismachit kshudra rasan vichimna
Tanmakshika virvatito vimanaha
Tanmakshika virvatito vimanaha
Tatrati krishrat pratilabdhamano
Tatrati krishrat pratilabdhamano
Balad vilumpanti atatam tattvam Karismachit putra rasan vichinvam
Karhismachit rasan vichinva
Tanmakshika virvatito vimanaha
Tanmakshika virvatito vimanaha
Tatrati krishrat pratilabdhamano
Tatrati lakshat pratilabdhamano
Balad vilumpanti atatam tattvam
Balad vilumpanti yatatatone. Word to word meaning. Karhismachit, sometimes. Kshudra, very insignificant. Rasan, sexual enjoyment. Vichinvan, searching for. Tat, of those women. Makshika bihi, by honeybees. Or the hundreds, or the husbands, or family members. Vyatitaha, very much aggrieved. Vimanaha, insulted. Tatra, in that. Ati, very much. Krichrat, with difficulty because of spending money. Pratilabdhamanaha, obtaining sexual enjoyment. Balat, by force. Vilumpanti, kidnapped. Ata, thereafter. Tam, the object of sense enjoyment. The woman. Tataha, from him. Anye, another debauchee. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Sometimes, in order to have a little insignificant sex enjoyment, one searches after debauched women. In this attempt, one is insulted and chastised by the woman's kinsmen. This is like going to take honey from a beehive and being attacked by the bees. Sometimes, after spending lots of money, one may acquire another woman for some extra sense enjoyment. Unfortunately, the object of sense enjoyment, the woman, is taken away or kidnapped by another debauchee. Purport. In a great forest, honeycombs are very important. People often go there to collect honey from the combs, and sometimes the bees attack and punish them. In human society, those who are not Krishna conscious remain in the forest of material life simply for the honey of sex life. Such debauchees are not at all satisfied with one wife. They want many women. Day after day, with great difficulty, they try to secure such women, and sometimes, while trying to taste this kind of honey, one is attacked by a woman's kinsman and chastised very heavily. By bribing others, one may secure another woman for enjoyment, yet another debauchee may kidnap her or offer her something better. This woman hunting is going on in the forest of the material world, sometimes legally and sometimes illegally. Consequently, in this Krishna consciousness movement, the devotees are forbidden to have illicit sex. Thus, they avoid so many difficulties. One should remain satisfied with one woman, being duly married. One can satisfy one's lusty desires with his wife without creating disturbances in society and being punished for doing so. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Vishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. So one thing I am seeing in my life, so whenever I give this opportunity to speak, I don't know what about the audience, but at least I am getting benefited. So whatever I'm speaking, so it directly strikes my heart. You useless fellow, you are only not following and you're telling to many other devotees. So you follow first. Some voice comes from inside. So that's helping me to follow what I'm speaking. So we're seeing the conversation between Jada Bharat and Maharaj Rahugana. So a lot of discussion about the material world, spiritual world, what is the goal of life and many things. So same thing we can see in all the chapters, everything. So for some concept, I'm just referring to 11th canto. Same thing here, there also mentioned, same thing, no difference. So what is devotional service? Who is a spirit soul? Who is God? Everything is repeated again and again, but with the different personalities. Different guru will be there, different Sishya will be there. But the topic is same thing. So understanding what is Sambandha Jnana, who are we, who is that Supreme Lord, what is our relationship with the Lord and the material world, and how a living entity can completely be satisfied in the heart. How he came to this material world, how he can go back. Same things repeated again and again. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam classes are a reminder for all the devotees who hear daily, regularly and speak for all the people to remind ourselves that we don't belong here. Our spiritual world is somewhere else, my house is somewhere else, so we have to go there and serve the Lord eternally. So we are seeing this conversation. So Jada Bharat and Maharaj Rahugana. So a lot of intricacies were discussed, but still Maharaj Rahugana was not able to understand. So he was asking again and again and again and again. So same thing. So Maharaj Rahugana, now this time he takes a different turn. He gives a story, allegorical story, to make Maharaj Rahugana understand what the thing is. So he's telling there was how a man goes to forest in search of something so that he can sell in the market and get some money for the maintaining of family, sense enjoyment, whatever. So he enters the forest, and after entering he loses the route map, and there are many plunderers who comes and plunders this forest man, and various ways. He sees some imaginary palace. In this palace I might stay here, so with my family. He just imagines, and he will be very, very hungry and thirsty. He in search of water, he goes everywhere, but only mirage he can see and nothing else. So in this way, whenever he enters the forest, he undergoes lot of difficulties. So this story is related to a spirit soul who comes into the material existence of this material world. This is how related. So what is this condition? All the verses we are discussing here. So this verse is very, very strong verse. So let's see once again. Sometimes in order to have a little insignificant sex enjoyment, one searches after debauched woman. In this attempt, one is insulted and chastised by the woman's kinsmen. This is like going to take honey from a beehive and being attacked by the bees. Sometimes after spending lots of money, one may acquire another woman for extra sense enjoyment. Unfortunately, the object of sense enjoyment, the woman, is taken away or kidnapped by another debauchee. This very, very strong sloka. I am not qualified to speak on this stuff. I am not qualified because I am also struggling here. But again, the opportunity, let me speak something on this. So when a person enters a forest, why he enters? Because he is greedy after money. He wants to go get something and sell for sense enjoyment. So similarly, why a spirit soul suffers? Because he is greedy after sense enjoyment. So that is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. What is the sloka? So when who searches for sense enjoyment, finally it comes up in distress. Esham antagatan tvapam. No, not that. Ei sansparshaja boha dukkha yona evate. So whenever senses and sense enjoyments comes in touch, what is the result? Distress. Dukkha yona evate. So just like when a man and woman comes in touch, and when a woman gets pregnant, that is a cause, that is a result of this. So similarly, when senses and sense objects come in touch, the result is distress. Dukkha yonaya evate. And in this world, the best way of enjoyment is sex life. Material gross enjoyment. That is highest. From the top planet to the lowest planet. From the high being to the lowest of the being, the ant. This is what Prabhupada says. So this is sex enjoyment. So this is what all the creatures are searching for. All the creatures. So this is why Srimad Bhagavatam repeats this again and again. Many, many great personalities who are performing great austerities, because of this sense gratification, this is sex enjoyment, they have fallen down. Great souls because of this. So this is the greatest bondage. As a bondage, as a fundamental bondage that keeps a living entity in the material world. Sex enjoyment. So whoever wants to go back home, back to Godhead, who wants to come out of this material world, and who wants to render service to the Lord eternally, so he has to come out of this sex tendency, sex enjoyment tendency. So Prabhupada says, who is a Paramahamsa? Paramahamsa is the one who is out of this sex enjoyment desire. So he is known as Paramahamsa. So Bhagavatam Rishabdev says, Pumsa Sriya Mituni Bhavametam Tayor Mito Hridya Granthi Ahuhu Ato Grhakshetra Sutapta Vitte Janas Samoham Aham Mameti. So Rishabh says this, the attraction between male and female is the basic principle for the material existence. So how this takes place? On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of male and female. They attach each other, and from this attraction, they go on. So what is attraction leads to? The attraction leads to body, home, property, children, relatives, and finally wealth. So in this way, one increases his life in the illusion, in the material world, and in terms of I and mine. And to remove this knot, Hridaya Grandhi, it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So both male and female, in their positions, they're happy. But when they come together, that is what the problems. That is where the problem starts. It's only Radhana Swami Maharaj says, both our eyes are there. Both our eyes are different. Yes or no? Both eyeballs looking at somewhere. Both are not together. But when this ball comes together and this ball also comes together, this is where the problem starts. We cannot see. So male and female are like this. In their positions, they are happy. When they come together, problem starts. Vision is lost. Goal is lost. So that is what mentioned. So this is a Pumsa Shriya Mituni Bhava Metam. When Pumsa means male. Shriya means Striya, female. When both come together, then what happens? Both come mithuni bhava. So with the tendency to get sense pleasure, when they come together, the problem starts. So where it starts? Etam tayor, of both of them, mitaha, between one another, hridaya grandhihi. So when when they come together, have sexual intercourse, the attachment between them increases to such an extent that it makes a knot, tight knot. It's very, very difficult to remove that knot, that tight knot. And next what happens? Because of that knot, ahu they call, thereafter graha. So they came together, attraction increased. So they want to stay together. Yes or no? So if they want to stay together, they need some place. So then is griha. Next kshetra, land is needed to have some house. And later sutapta. Sutapta means children, kids are needed, no? So Chanakya says, so when there's a husband and wife, so if there are no kids, it is like a barren land with no use. So when there is a family, there should be some kids. And to get kids, they engage in sexual life. And to maintain the life, they need home, land. And they're just not satisfied with that. They need some relatives also, some family members to show off, I have such a big house, so many possessions. They need some relatives also. And to maintain all this, they need vitta, that is wealth. So in this, by this engagement, what happens? He'll be stuck in this illusion. So what is that illusion? Aham mameti, I and mine. So where is it starting from? The whole cycle started with sex life, sense pleasure. I want to enjoy. Both man and woman, they're thinking like this. And when they come in touch and they engage in sexual life, finally they come engage in this, stuck in this cycle of kshetra, graha, sutapta, vitta. And to get wealth, people has to work day and night in IT companies, so hard. So finally they're stuck in this aham mameti, I and mine. And this hridaya grandhi is stuck in the heart. And to remove this is very, very difficult. And the same thing is told by Prahlad Maharaj also in Srimad Bhagavatam. So what he says? Yen maitunadi grahamedi sukham hitucham kandu yanena karayor iva dukkha dukkham triptanti neha kripana bahu dukkha baja kandu vinan manasijam vishaheta dhiraha. So what is telling? Yat, that which is meant for sense gratification. Maitunadi represented. So why this is maitunadi? Not just engaging. Even it's speaking, talking of sex, reading sexual literature, or looking at those, or even engaging. So all this comes under sex, not just physical contact. So whatever senses enjoying, either eyes, ears, hearing about it, seeing, looking at it. So all this comes under sex. So grahamedi sukham. So grahamedi means what? The one, the personality, so who doesn't have any higher goal in life, no spiritual life at all, just want to engage in sex life and maintain the family members. So he is known as a grahamedi. And what is opposite of grahamedi? He is a grahastha. So grahastha means leading a ideal grahastha life. That is maintaining the family with a restricted sense enjoyment and simultaneously practicing bhakti. So he is known as grahastha. So how this sloka says, Yanmaitunadi grahamedi sukham hitucham kandu yanena karayor. Karayor means hands. So this sex pleasure is like itching of hands. Say some itching is there in the hand. We're rubbing it. Okay, it's very nice. It's very pleasing. But it's not satisfied there. Again we move, is going on. We're just rubbing the hand again and again. After some time what happens? It's like some damage happens here. And finally we have to end up with the hospital. So this is how the sex life is compared to. It's just like an itch. So what he has to do? So what Prahlad is telling, Triptanti neha kripana bahu dukkha baja kandu manishjam vishaheta dhiraha. So what has to do? Just tolerate. So this is what Krishna also says. What is the sloka? Where Krishna is telling, just tolerate. Matra spashastat kamanteya shitoshna sukhudukkada tam tikichasva bharata. So this is all we can tell to each other. So whenever we get some provoking situations, tat tikichasva charu. We can tell all this. Just tolerate. So in this sloka, So Prahlad is telling, so whenever that inching sensation comes, just tolerate. So what is telling? Tucham. This sex enjoyment is tucha, insignificant. But in the material world, what happens? The insignificant things we take to your top level. Top level. All this material sense gratification, whatever is there, is just insignificant by the scriptures. And in the material world, especially in Kali Yuga, all these insignificant things we give a top priority. Sex life. The whole world is going ahead on this. People are earning money. Why? To get sense enjoyment. Only this is the only thing. And Tripyanti, they think Tripyanti na iha kripanaha. And by doing this sense gratification, will one be satisfied? No. One will never be satisfied by engaging in this sense gratification. So, but people think, I'll get this. So, those people are known as kripanaha, the foolish persons. The foolish persons think, by enjoying like this, one day I'll get completely satisfied and give up. No, that's not gonna happen. So, my mother says, whenever I talk to her, she says, hey, why you take this liberated position? Means, brahmachari, monk wife. So one has to enjoy life very nicely. Get married, have a nice sex life, get kids, everything. So after that, you can think about moksha. So there is a nice saying in Telugu. Kami kani vadu moksha kami kaledanta. So this means, so one has to become a kami, sense gratifier. So after enjoying sense gratification nicely, finally one will get the realization and can think of moksha. This is what told. I was hearing again and from my mother. Told me, so kami kani gadu, moksha kami gadu, very nice. So we all are engaged in sense life, sense enjoyment. So relatives, everyone are enjoying. Have you thought about any time about moksha? No answer. Whoever told this, I asked directly this question. So you're telling this, right? So we have to enjoy very nicely. And then we have to think about moksha. Oh, you're enjoying very nicely. Have you got some thought about salvation? No. So it's not going to happen like this. So if we keep fire is there, if we add ghee, kitchen devotees know very well. So when we add ghee, so what happens? Fire reduces or increases? It increases more and more. So sense gratification tendency is there. So when we enjoy sense gratification, what happens? This fire increases. There is no reduction of fear. So by engaging sense gratification, it will not reduce. It will not reduce. So the famous example we all know, the Akbar and Birbal. So Birbal is telling Akbar, the same, Akbar is telling to Birbal, Kami Kani Vad Lo Mokshaka, this is the same slogan is telling. By enjoying sense gratification, and when one comes to an old age, he'll not have this tendency of enjoyment, he'll just forget. So do not take care about this much. Then Birbal says, no sir, it's not gonna happen. By engaging sense gratification more and more, even one comes to an old age, at the time of death, still one will have the thoughts of sex. And Akbar is not believing this. Then Birbal told, okay, let me show you one example, come, eye to eye. Pratyaksha Praman, I will show you, Pratyaksham, please come, I will give you the evidence. So they will go to a person who is about to die in the hospital. So Birbal takes Akbar also. So Birbal requests Akbar, Akbar, not only you, so bring your youngest daughter also. He didn't understand Akbar. He told, later I'll tell you. So both three of them will go to a hospital. And there is a old man lying on the bed who is about to die. And to see him, the emperor of the whole country, Akbar, has come. Badshah, he has come to see this dying person. And he's lying on the bed. Akbar enters the room. This dying person sees him. And Birbal comes. And this youngest daughter of Akbar comes. Blood done. So he's also lying on that. And Akbar started pacifying this dying man, don't worry. So everyone has to go through this death. So he'll get another life. So they're discussing vagera. So after the whole discussion, all the three people came out. And Birbal took Akbar's side and he told, have you observed that old man? I didn't observe much. So when he's talking to you, when you're talking to him, so he's not looking at you. He's looking at your young girl. So then he understood, oh yes. So the thoughts of sex cannot be removed even at the time of death. if one is not practicing devotional service. Very, very difficult. So that's why this knot is very strong. The desire of sex is very, very strong to remove from the heart. So that's what's telling here. Kandu yayat. So it's like a itching. So one keeps on itching more and more. So it becomes a big trouble in the life. Big trouble. So one has to tolerate. Or else, if it's not tolerating, what happens? Bahudukka bhaja. One has to end up in suffering. Dukkha bhaja. The same thing in 11th canto also. So one of the Yogendras gives the instruction to Nimi Maharaj. So there Navayogendra says, so basically there are three things which are natural attraction for the hearts of every living entity in the conditioned state. So what are those attractions? First thing is meat eating. It's naturally attracted for everyone, meat eating. And next is sex life. Then another I forgot, I just let you know. So these are natural attractions for any conditioned living entity. So that's why, but it's completely condemned in the scriptures. Basically 4 regulative principles, we can just put it into. So these are completely condemned. So if one has to progress on the path of spiritual life. But still there are people who cannot control these senses, who cannot give up these stuffs. So that's why scriptures only gives restrictions, or in a regulated way, one can engage in this sense enjoyment. It does not mean that they can go on. No. It means that regulatively engage in sense enjoyment, slowly, gradually, you will give it up. So that's why the regulation is mentioned in the scriptures. A greedy person, suppose, why this is happening? Because people are very greedy. That lobha is there. Suppose a greedy person is there. He wants to see everything in the world. So what's there in that planet, what's there here, everything wants to see. So let him show the whole universe. But still he will not be satisfied. Let me please take me to another universe. I want to see there also. So he will not satisfied. So that is what the example mentioned here. A person will be never satisfied. A greedy, lusty person will never be satisfied with one wife. He wants to enjoy more and more wives. Even if you give the woman in the whole creation, after enjoying whole also, he will not be satisfied. That is how the greed is there in the heart. The lust is personified in the heart itself. Very, very difficult to control this. So the example was given here about Ravana. So Ravana is there. So when he did all this nonsense, kidnapped Sita. So let's see, so in Ravana palace, there are many princes for him. Every day is enjoying, many, many princes. And amongst those princes, Mandodari is there. So she is considered as one of the greatest pativrata. So in the list of all the pativratas, great housewives, Sita, all these great personalities are there. In that pativrata list, even Mandodari was there. Mandodari is there. And Mandodari is telling to Ravan, oh my dear husband, why have you done such an obnoxious thing? Kidnapping Sita? You have so many other queens, right? You have so many other wives. You can enjoy her. So Mandodari is chastising her husband. But still he didn't listen. Same counsel is given by even Vibhishan also. My useless brother, why you have done such an obnoxious thing? You shouldn't do this. So after this all happening, so the whole Kaurava Sevana is ready on the shore of Lanka to fight. So at that time all the people, the soldiers of Ravana trying to wake up Kumbhakarna for the fight. So finally, after long big struggle, somehow Kumbhakarna woke up. The pure devotee of Nidra Devi. Kumbhakarna woke up. And when he got to know that his brother Ravan has done such a nonsense thing, in the assembly, he chastised Ravana. What nonsense you have done, you useless fellow. What nonsense you have done. So if I would have got to know about this before, I would not come to assembly also here. He's chastised the left and right, Ravana. Then the supporters of Ravana, the ministers of Ravana, they started supporting Ravana. Hey, what do you think about Ravana? If he is our great master, if he thinks one thing, he has to get enjoyed. No one can stop Ravana. Even demigods fear about Ravana. So all the ministers also went against Kumbhakarna. And finally came to conclusion, ठीक है, Kumbhakarna, सीख है, I'm your younger brother, so I have to follow you. ठीक, I will take part in the fighting. So he also accepted, gone. So the thing what to be understood here is, after being chastised by his own family members, Ravana didn't give up this tendency of enjoying another woman. Even after having so many women in this palace, wives, but still he wants to enjoy another woman. So this tendency is always there in the heart of every conditioned living entity. So another story comes. So it's a real life story, recently, around maybe thousands years back. So there is a saint called Bhartahari. Heard about anyone? Bhartahari, I think maybe Tamil Nadu somewhere. So he's a king. Before he becoming a saint, he is a king, great king. He has written many bhajans also on the Lord. So after he becoming a sannyas, great devotee of the Lord. So when he was a king, so he loved one woman who is not his wife, a normal citizen. He's trying to follow her, trying to take her. But she is not liking the king. But king is, no? If king proposes, but this lady is also not able to accept, not able to reject. He's a king. How can one reject king? So he's trying to allure her, trying to love her. But she's not accepting the king. Why? Because she has another affair with one more guy. So with so much of love, so-called love, the king, Bhartahari, so he gives a ring of his own. He gifts that ring to this girl. But this girl has another affair, another boyfriend. So she gives this ring to his boyfriend, to her boyfriend. And this boy has another affair. He's not loving this girl. She gives another. So just going on. Final day, it so happens that this ring came to the king's wife. Then he was shocked. Oh my God, what's happening in this world? I gave this ring to one lady and went on. Finally came to his own wife. Then he decided this world is completely obnoxious, dirty. At that particular point of time, on that day, he renounced his kingdom, kingly order, everything. He took sannyas. Then he got realized, this is completely gone case, I shouldn't be here. Then he took renunciation, he became a great devotee of the Lord. He written many bhajans about the Lord and various stuffs. So it's very, very difficult to come out of this sense gratification tendency. So as Prahlad Maharaj told, so one has to tolerate this sense gratification tendency, one has to tolerate. But this tolerance is just enough? Not enough. Not enough. Many people are told, like we have Sauber Muni. He's doing austerity for thousands of years in the waters down. For thousands of years. Somehow he watched two fishes coming in contact. And looking at the fishes, he broke his austerity. Came out of the water, came out the austerity, everything. And he went to the king, he asked, I want to marry your 50 daughters. And king told, you're a dirty person now. Full beard, everything for thousands of years. He's not looking good. So how can I give my children, my daughters in your marriage to you? So he's a great mystic also, no? So he transformed himself as a beautiful boy, beautiful young man, and he gave in marriage. So later, then he understood, I'm doing something nonsense, he went back. So the thing is here, just tolerance is not enough. So what is required is the higher taste in devotional service. So that is what Krishna says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarcham rasopyassa parandrishtvani vartate. So one should get the taste of devotional service. So Prabhupada writes in that purport, I don't exact verbatim. So he says, one who tastes the beauty of Krishna, he will not have any taste for the pale material things in this world. So we need that higher taste in devotional service. When we get that higher taste in devotional service, all this material taste will be reduced automatically. The famous example we know, Yamunacharya. Remember that sloka? Where he says, when I think about sex, he splits. I also didn't remember, so I made a note here. Yad avadi mama cheta Krishna padaravende navanava rasadhamni udyatam rantumasit. Tad avadi bhatanari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukha vikaraha tusta nistivanam cha. So when Yamunacharya is telling, whenever I think about sex, my lips turn and spits at the thought of sex life. Why is he able to tell this? Why is he telling this? Because he got the higher taste in constantly rendering service to Krishna. So the thing is Nava Rasa. So by rendering service to Krishna all the time, he is getting newer and newer freshness in devotional service. And because of getting that freshness, that taste in devotional service is living this turcha, insignificant sex enjoyment. Is just living this. Means the crux is getting the taste in devotional service all the time. That who is giving that freshness? In while we are having prasadam also, we need some fresh thing, no? Fresh, tasty food, tasty prasadam. So in whatever activity, Brahmachari prasadam. So whatever any activity you are doing, we need some taste. If there is no taste, there is no freshness, we will not be able to continue. That is for sure. Everyone experienced this, need not tell much. But the thing is, how we will get that freshness in the service we are rendering? So this comes in Bhagavatam. So it tells, Navyavad dhriyate yajno brahmaitad brahmavadibihi na muhyanti na sochati na hrishyati yato gataha. This shloka says, always engaging in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever fresh, ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities. Means those devotees who are engaging in the devotional service, they are getting this newness, freshness, taste in devotional service. But who is giving this freshness? Next line. The all-knower, the super soul within the heart of the devotee makes everything increasingly fresh. Who is giving that freshness? The Lord who is sitting in the heart of every devotee. So who is giving that freshness for a devotee? So that devotee can continue in that path of devotional service and not fall down. So that's why what happens? What is the consequence? That taste, that freshness makes everything fresh. So this is known as Brahman position by the advocates of the absolute truth. In such a liberated stage or a Brahma Bhuta stage, one is never bewildered of this material sense enjoyment, nor does one lament or become unnecessarily jubilant. This is due to the Brahma Bhuta situation. This Brahma Bhuta stage comes when one gets taste in the activities they are rendering, that is devotional service. So one thing we can contemplate for ourselves is, if I am not getting taste in devotional service, but I have some attraction still in the material world, that means I am not getting that freshness. I am not getting that taste in devotional service. So why I am not getting? Because Krishna is not giving. He is the one who gives. Now who gives everything? Aham sarvasya Prabhu. He gives everything. From him everything comes. Even the taste in devotional service also comes from the Lord itself, as a super soul in the heart. If I am not getting the taste, the thing is Krishna is not pleased with us. Krishna is not pleased with me. That's why he's not giving this taste. While chanting, while reading, while attending Mangalarati, whatever activity you're doing, whatever service you're doing, if I am not getting the taste in that particular activity, so how to understand I'm not getting the taste in particular devotional activity? I have taste in the material sense gratification. Simple. If I have taste there, I don't have taste here. Easy to understand. When I'm chanting, I'm not able to chant more rounds or attentively because I have taste in something else. While reading, I'm not able to read attentively because I have taste something else. While discussing Bhagavatam, we are not able to have taste because I don't have attentiveness here. Because I don't have taste in this. Because I have taste in something else. In something sense gratificatory activity. So to get the taste, Krishna should be pleased finally. Only when Krishna is pleased, he gives that taste, that freshness. And one experience that freshness in the heart, not just once, twice in a while, all the time. Then one can make this statement as Yamunacharya. So whenever I get the thought of sense gratification, I don't want this. So one can aspire to come to that level like Yamunacharya, all the great devotees. When I am getting some sense, I have, my Lord is there. I want to render pure devotional service unto him. This is my satisfaction. This fulfilling activity to my heart. So this is what actual dharma of a living entity is. So I was reading that dharma book. The dharma book is all about this thing. So slokas from first canto, chapter 2, verse number 6. From there it starts. So everything is printed, copy paste. The sloka, purport, translation, as it is. That is the dharma book. So So the first the first question asked by all the rishis, Naimisharanya rishis, to Suta Goswami. So what is the actual dharma of a living entity? So what a person should do as a living entity, what in general? So what is his highest goal? So then the Suta Goswami says 1, 2, 6. Remember? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshate ahaituki apratihata yatma suprasidati. So this is the actual dharma. Always engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. How the devotional service should be? Ahaituki and apratihata. Means constantly happening, every moment. And without any ulterior motive. And when a devotee can do this, he is suprasidati. That complete satisfaction in the heart comes. And this complete satisfaction is the taste or the freshness. And one can experience this. Oh, wonderful. He will not come down again. Experiencing want to get some sense gratification. So one has to come to that level. Ahaituki apratihata, rendering this pure devotion service. And that is the dharma of every living entity. And this is not a new point which we are discussing. It's already known. And we are repeating again and again and again. The only thing is we have to cultivate this. It's not just a process of in a few seconds that I will discuss it like today. Tomorrow morning, ahaituki apratihata. Difficult, no. So this should be a cultivation. So how we cultivate crops? We cultivate, right? So crops means it takes many months to get the fruit. So similarly, this devotional process is also cultivation. So to cultivate the seed of bija, the bhakti lata bij, by pouring water of Shravanam and Kirtan. Basically, the Navavidha Bhakti. So when we pour water of Shravanam and Kirtanam to bhakti lata bij, which is there in the heart, given by the spiritual master, this grows slowly and slowly and slowly and reaches the lotus feet of the Lord in the Golok Vrindam. So that is our process, the whole life. So you've seen that universal chant, right? That Hare Krishna mantra is there, from the material world to the spiritual world. So that is a tree which we have. So I was reading recently in one of the purports Prabhupada writes. So that sloka is there, no? Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiv Guru Krishna Kripaya Bad Bhakti Lata Beach. So what is this beach? Everyone, all are doing devotion service. Before taking initiation also you are doing devotion service. After taking same thing. So what is this beach? Prabhupada writes in the purport that beach is the taste in devotional service. Taste. That is what a spiritual master gives in the heart of a disciple. The taste for devotional service. And this taste for devotional service we have to cultivate gradually, more and more and more and more. Come to the platform of prema. So when it comes to the platform of prema, then he is given a ticket, Hare Krishna. So your ticket number is so and so. So after your death, you can go back to Godhead. So this Bhakti Lata Beach should be cultivated slowly, nicely, to come to the platform of Ahaituki Apratihata, without any motive. So as a renunciance, we have left many things, but still few things are. 50% is done, still 50% is remaining. So when Bhakti Lata bridge is growing, there are weeds also coming up. So that weeds has to be removed. So most of the time we try to maintain or cultivate only the Bhakti Lata bridge. We forgot to remove the weeds. These weeds give us struggle in devotional service. So we have to keep eyes both on the Bhakti Lata bridge also and on the weeds. That is anarthas or the offenses which we are committing. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think, gives a purport on each and every anartha or every offense. So how to remove this offense, this offense, this offense, this, everything clearly mentioned. So we can, whenever we are discussing or about this offenses in the morning, we can try to meditate one at least we can take in the lively and try to meditate how can I avoid this. So means we are trying to remove the weeds. Suppose anarthas are also coming up while doing devotional service. The important anartha is pride, puja, labha, pratishtha, which we experience. Because devotees say renunciants are great devotees of the Lord. They are staying in the temple all the time serving the Lord. And one devotee says this, oh Prabhuji, you are a great devotee. And automatically we get the taste of that puja, labha, pratishtha. And want to get that more and more taste for this puja, labha, pratishtha. Instead of advancing in devotional service. The taste for puja, labha, pratishtha increases. And that is actual sex enjoyment. for a actual renunciant. So how to control that? How to cut out these sweets? This is the contemplation. That can be done only by rendering pure devotional service to the Lord. Constantly, without any ulterior motive. As I already discussed, it's a cultivation, gradual process. Immediately it cannot be done. Okay? So with this, I would like to conclude today's discussion. Any questions? Clear? Okay, we have 4 minutes, we can have reflections.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the nice class. We saw in the verse that how when a man who is stuck in a forest is compared to the conditioned soul, and how he is after various sense pleasures, and even after the woman, when he goes after the woman, sometimes he is chastised by the kinsmen of the woman, and sometimes woman leaves him for another man. So this all keeps on happening, and this shows the struggle of conditioned life. And you also explained that how this sense pleasure will never lead to complete satisfaction. It is like rubbing of hands, or trying to satisfy itching, but it will only damage our hands. And so the solution for this is not to actually engage in the sense enjoyment, but getting a higher taste, which is the higher taste in devotional service. So we should, as renunciants also, we should carefully cultivate this beach, Bhakti Lata beach, so that we can come out of this entanglement.
At the same time feel satisfied, feel nourished. And if we are not feeling the taste, that means Paramatma is not getting pleased, or the Lord is not getting pleased. Because it is the Lord who gives the taste, or it is Lord who reciprocates and gives us the taste in devotional service. And Lord reciprocates when he is pleased by our service. So we have to all the time contemplate how we can please the Lord, and then we can feel the taste in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Very nice class, Prabhuji. So first of all, you told like how the living entities come in contact with these 3 modes of material nature and they are suffering on the first points, and they are getting only this dukkha. And above that, there will be some, in the material worlds, there will be sex pleasures, which is the very highest sense pleasures. Then somehow or others, the people are simply struggling on that. And on that, you told like, so they become like the people become grihamedi. Instead of that, whatever you told like in Telugu words, they are thinking like that, after all everything I have finished my sense gratification, then only I will get the sannyasi or renunciations. It's not possible. Somehow or others, it's a one kind of entanglements, just we will be trapped on that sense gratifications. And you told like, yeah, only the method is like we need to just tolerate these things, only it's possible. And to not only tolerate, also we will go for the higher taste towards the Krishna. If the Krishna's beauty is so very high, so why we will taste for, searching for the taste for somewhere else? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, you told that the sex life begins with aham mameti, and thinking, feeling, will, all are the levels of sex only, and we need to just tolerate, and when one will be have higher taste in Krishna consciousness, then he can reject or he can avoid this lower taste. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the nice class. So the points you have mentioned was like the natural attractions for the living entities is like meat eating and all the 4 regulative principles. And one has to tolerate the sense gratification tendencies. And you also mentioned like we have to do pure devotional service unmotivated. uninterrupted and unmotivated pure devotional service. And lust cannot be satisfied no matter what you do, how much ghee you pour, the fire will always burn. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the class. So, throughout the Bhagavatam, this same thing is going on. You said, like, this material enjoyment is insignificant. One had to come out of this and aspire for come back to Godhead. This thing will not, this material enjoyment will not satisfy the living entity. So, you gave example of Ravana and Brithari, the both example. So to come out of this, the tolerance is not tolerating that sense enjoyment tendency is not enough. One is to serve Lord, and by with sincerity. If Lord is pleased, then he'll get the higher taste, which like he'll feel freshness in this devotion service, higher realizations, and by that he can leave that this come from Yamunacharya's quote. So by this he can give up the sense enjoyment tendency, and he can stay full time in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. As we are conditioned soul, our senses are not so strong. We are always engaged in sense enjoyment. The end product of sense enjoyment is distress. So we have to do devotional service to get rid of this. And the goal is lost when we cultivate this sense enjoyment. And the foolish people always think that the sense gratification is the only top priority. By engaging our desire to do devotional service, we have to go in a higher taste so that our material sense gratification will be eradicated, and freshness in rendering devotional service will be given by the Lord Paramatma. Hare Krishna.
Jai.